Alex Carter awoke to the soft crash of waves against rocks, his head pounding and his body sore. The last thing he remembered was the emergency alarm in his ship, flashing red as the control panels went dark. Then a violent jolt, fire, smoke, and a flash of white light. And now he was lying on a strange shore surrounded by water that shimmered like liquid glass. He tried to sit up, but his legs ached and his arms trembled. Slowly, he pushed himself upright, looking around. The landscape felt almost unreal. Pale green trees with glimmering leaves swayed in a gentle breeze. The sand beneath his feet sparkled faintly like crushed crystals. In the distance, strange mountains rose, smooth and pinkish, reflecting the light in odd angles. He had never seen anything like it. A part of him wanted to pinch himself, but he knew this was real. His ship was somewhere behind him, broken and smoking among rocks. He moved carefully, trying to take in his surroundings, and then he saw them. Figures moving among the trees, small and delicate, yet standing with purpose. At first, Alex thought they might be some kind of alien animals, but as they drew closer, he realized they were women. Their skin was flawless, almost porcelain-like, their eyes wide and bright with unusual colors and their movements graceful and precise. It was as if they were dolls come to life. Alex froze. He had read about humanoid aliens before, but nothing prepared him for the sight of beings so beautiful, so different. One stepped forward, her long hair flowing like silk over her shoulders. She raised her hands, palms open, and spoke in a voice that was melodic, almost musical. "Please, help us." Alex blinked. "Help? You? What? What's happening here?" His throat was dry and his tongue felt thick. The woman's eyes filled with urgency. "Our energy, our core, it is dying. Without it, our world cannot survive. You can help. You must," he frowned. "Energy core? I don't even know your language fully, but I think I understand a little." "Why me? Why not someone from your world?" She tilted her head as if surprised by his question. I cannot. Our minds, our ways, limited. Human, you can think differently. You can fix what we cannot." Alex's mind raced. He had crash-landed here by accident. He had no plan, no backup, no resources. And yet here were these women pleading with him for help. He couldn't ignore them. "Okay, I'll try," he said finally. "But I need to understand. Where is this energy core and what happens if I fail?" The woman stepped closer, her eyes shining. "If it fails, the light fades. The air becomes cold, life disappears. We disappear." Her voice trembled slightly, though she tried to keep it steady. Alex swallowed hard. The stakes were higher than anything he had faced before. He had survived space storms, meteor showers, and ship malfunctions, but this was different. These beings' lives depended on him. Somehow he felt a responsibility he couldn't ignore. "Lead the way," he said, and she smiled faintly, relief washing over her delicate features. They moved through the strange forest together. Alex noticed details he had never expected. Tiny plants that glowed softly in the dim light, streams of water that floated slightly above the ground before settling, and the faint hum of energy in the air. The women moved with uncanny grace, their feet barely touching the ground, their gestures elegant and precise. After some time, they reached a city unlike anything Alex had ever imagined. Buildings floated slightly above the ground, connected by bridges that glimmered like liquid metal. Vehicles hovered silently, gliding along invisible tracks. Robots with smooth, minimalist designs attended to daily tasks. The city was pristine, perfect in its symmetry, yet there was an air of unease. Alex could sense it, subtle but undeniable. The woman who had guided him led him into a central building, a structure that pulsed faintly with light. Inside he saw the energy core, a sphere of pure shifting energy suspended above a pedestal. Sparks flew from it and Alex could feel the instability. "This is it?" he asked. "Yes," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Without it, everything ends." Alex studied the core. It looked alive, almost sentient, but clearly damaged. He approached it cautiously. "I need tools, materials, schematics," he said. The woman shook her head. "We cannot. You must figure it out." "Use your mind. Use yourself." Alex frowned. This was going to be harder than he thought. He had worked with advanced technology before, but nothing like this. It wasn't just a machine, it was a living system, delicate and powerful. One wrong move could destroy it completely. Over the next hours, Alex examined the core, trying to understand its mechanisms. The women watched silently, offering occasional gestures of encouragement but never interfering. Alex felt the weight of their expectations pressing on him. He could see fear in their eyes, the fear of losing everything they had built. As he worked, he noticed something else. Despite their delicate appearances, the women were not helpless. They had knowledge, intelligence, and intuition, but their minds were tuned differently. They approached problems in precise, symmetrical ways but lacked the adaptability, the improvisational thinking that humans excel at. Where they saw one solution, Alex saw many possibilities. By evening, he had formulated a plan. He would stabilize the core temporarily, giving them time to understand his methods and adapt. But the planet itself posed another challenge. The air grew colder as night fell, and strange predatory creatures emerged from the shadows. They had long limbs, sharp claws, and glowing eyes, moving silently toward the city. The women gasped and retreated. Alex drew a makeshift weapon, scavenged from parts of his ship. He had fought aliens before, but nothing like these creatures. They were fast, intelligent, and relentless. Yet Alex's human adaptability gave him an advantage. He set traps, used the terrain, and outsmarted the predators one by one. The women watched in awe as he faced danger with calm determination. When the last creature fled, Alex turned to the women. "You need to be careful. The planet. It's not safe." They nodded, their eyes wide. We cannot survive without you," one said softly. Alex felt a strange mixture of pride and unease. He was no hero, he was just a human, stranded far from home. Yet here, in a world of beings who looked like dolls, he mattered. His mind, his courage, his unpredictability made a difference. He realized that humans were powerful not because of strength alone, but because of their ingenuity, adaptability, and empathy. That night, he sat near the core, exhausted but alert. The women gathered around him, not as dolls or curiosities, but as individuals who trusted him. They shared stories of their lives, their culture, and their history. Alex listened, fascinated by their knowledge and perspective. He learned that their perfection had come at a cost. Their genetic engineering had created fragile bodies and minds optimized for beauty and precision, but limited in flexibility. They had technology beyond imagination, yet lacked the creative problem-solving that humans took for granted. Alex realized that their dependence on him was not weakness, it was a difference in strengths. By the time dawn approached, Alex had repaired a critical part of the energy core. Sparks of stability ran through it and the hum of life returned to the city. The women cheered softly, their faces lighting up with hope. "You saved us," the woman who first approached him said, her eyes shining. "I helped," Alex corrected gently. "You did most of it yourselves, I just showed a different way." She smiled, a mixture of relief and admiration. "Still, you are special, human, strong in ways we cannot be." Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of connection to this strange world. He was shipwrecked, far from home, facing challenges he could never have imagined, but for the first time in a long while, he felt he belonged somewhere, even if only temporarily. As the day began, Alex knew that his journey was far from over. The energy core was stable for now, but the planet held more dangers, more mysteries, and more opportunities to prove the value of human ingenuity. He had arrived by accident, but perhaps he had been meant to come here. The women gathered around him once more, their small hands touching his arms, shoulders, and back in gestures of gratitude. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth he had not expected. In this world of delicate beings and unreal landscapes, humans had a role to play, not as conquerors, not as saviors, but as partners capable of extraordinary thinking and courage. And for the first time since his ship crashed, Alex felt a spark of hope. He would survive here, not just because of strength, but because of humanity itself. The sun rose slowly over the sparkling planet, casting soft light on the city that now hummed with renewed energy. Alex Carter stood near the energy core, watching as the women moved through their floating streets, attending to tasks with a calm efficiency. For a moment, he allowed himself to breathe, thinking he had finally earned a small measure of peace. But deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. As he explored the city, he noticed subtle changes. The women were no longer merely curious about him. They studied him with keen interest, their eyes following every move, their expressions a mixture of admiration and cautious concern. Alex realized they were learning from him as much as he was learning from them. Their society, perfect in appearance and technology, had never encountered someone who thought differently, who improvised, who combined creativity with courage. One of the women approached him, carrying a small device that pulsed faintly. Her hair shimmered like silver under the sunlight, and her eyes glowed with an unusual intensity. "Alex, we need your help again," she said. "The Northern Energy Relay. It is unstable. If it fails, the entire outer sector will go dark." Alex nodded. "Show me." She led him through the city, across bridges that floated gracefully above the sparkling streams, and into a sector where the buildings were suspended in mid-air, their foundations held by intricate energy fields. The Northern Relay sat in the center, a complex lattice of glowing conduits feeding into the city's core. Sparks leapt between nodes, and the hum of unstable energy made the air vibrate faintly. He studied the relay carefully. "This is more complex than the core we fixed yesterday," he said. "But I can stabilize it if we work together." The women watched closely as Alex analyzed the device. He moved quickly, improvising tools from parts of the city's machinery, connecting nodes in ways that their precise calculations had never considered. They marveled at his ability to think outside of structured patterns, to see solutions in possibilities rather than rules. While he worked, Alex noticed movement out of the corner of his eye. A shadow shifted among the floating buildings, too quick and subtle for the women to detect. He tensed. The predators from the previous night had returned, more numerous and more cunning. These creatures were not just threats, they were intelligent, hunting in coordinated packs, testing his skills and his ingenuity. "Alex." "What is it?" one of the women whispered, sensing his tension. "Stay back," he said calmly. "They're coming. I'll handle this." He moved swiftly, setting traps and using the environment to his advantage. His experience as a human, with instincts honed from survival in dangerous situations, gave him an edge. He lured the creatures into narrow passages where their size and speed worked against them. Then, using a combination of energy pulses from the city's devices and simple mechanical snares, he drove them away, one by one. The women gasped in awe and relief. "You can protect us in ways we cannot," one said softly. "Your mind, your actions, it is remarkable." Alex smiled faintly, though he felt the weight of responsibility pressing down. "It's not just me," he said. "It's humans in general. We survive by thinking differently, by being unpredictable. That's what makes a difference." Once the predators were gone, he returned to the relay. The device was still unstable, but he worked with renewed focus. He connected nodes, rerouted energy, and fine-tuned the system using a combination of intuition and trial and error. Slowly, the sparks diminished, the hum became steady, and the relay glowed with a stable light. The women cheered quietly, their joy sincere and heartfelt. "You did it," the silver-haired woman said. "Our outer sector. Safe." Alex wiped sweat from his brow. "It wasn't just me. You all helped in your own ways. I just showed a different path." Over the next days, Alex became more integrated into the society. He learned their language better, discovered their customs, and even taught them small things from his world. Ways to improvise, how to approach problems creatively, and strategies for defending against predators. The women respected him not only for his technical skill but for his leadership, his courage, and his empathy. They treated him as an equal, someone whose humanity brought balance to their perfection. One evening, as the pink sun dipped below the horizon, Alex walked with a group of women along a floating bridge. The air was filled with the soft hum of energy, the glow of bioluminescent plants, and the gentle lapping of water below. "Alex," one said, her voice hesitant, "why did your species survive while ours almost failed?" He thought for a moment. "Because humans adapt. We make mistakes, we learn, and we act even when we don't have all the answers. That's our strength. Your society. It is amazing, but it relies on perfection. You weren't prepared for failure. And failure can be dangerous." She nodded slowly, considering his words. You bring balance. You are not like us, but that is what we need." As time passed, Alex faced new challenges. He helped the women improve their defenses, designed ways to repel predators, and even assisted in stabilizing other energy cores scattered across the planet. Each success built trust and respect. The women began to rely on him, not blindly, but because his thinking complemented their abilities. Then came the greatest test. A massive storm approached the planet unlike anything Alex had seen. Winds tore through the floating cities. Energy surges threatened to overload cores, and predators became more aggressive as the environment shifted. The women panicked, unsure how to respond. Alex sprang into action. He coordinated the society, assigning tasks based on individual strengths. He reinforced energy cores, created shelters using floating structures, and directed defenses against predators. His human ingenuity turned potential disaster into manageable risk. The storm raged for hours, and Alex barely rested. Yet through it all, he never wavered. The women followed his lead, inspired by his calm determination. When the storm finally passed, the city was battered but intact. The cores were stable, and the predators had retreated. The women gathered around him, their expressions a mixture of relief, admiration, and something deeper. Gratitude that went beyond words. "You saved us," the silver-haired woman said again, her eyes shining with sincerity. "Not just our lives, but our world." Alex shook his head. "I didn't do it alone. You all acted with courage and intelligence. I just showed what humans can do in times of danger." In the following days, the society flourished in ways Alex had never imagined. The women adapted some of his methods, learning to combine their precision with human flexibility. The energy network became more resilient, defenses more effective, and their understanding of the planet's dangers deeper. Alex saw the result of human ingenuity merging with advanced civilization, a partnership that elevated both. Eventually, Alex faced a choice. He had repaired enough of his ship to leave, but a part of him hesitated. He had come to care for this society, for the women who had trusted him, who had shown him gratitude and admiration unlike anything he had experienced before. Leaving would mean abandoning a civilization that now relied on him, not out of weakness, but because he had become indispensable. One evening, as the twin moons rose, casting silver light over the city, Alex stood near the energy core. The women approached, each placing a hand on his shoulder or arm in a silent gesture of trust. "Alex," one said softly, "you can leave if you wish. But no, you are part of us now. Your mind, your courage, it belongs here as much as ours." He looked at them, his heart full of conflicting emotions. I didn't expect this. I didn't plan to stay, but maybe this is where I belong. For now." A quiet cheer went through the group. The women smiled, their eyes glowing softly in the moonlight. They were no longer merely delicate, perfect beings. They were a society strengthened by human ingenuity, by adaptability, by courage. And Alex felt for the first time since his crash that he had truly made a difference. Over time, he helped them explore new ways of thinking, combining human creativity with their advanced technology. Together, they developed new devices, improved energy networks, and even discovered ways to cultivate their planet more sustainably. Alex became a bridge between worlds, a living proof of humanity's value beyond mere strength or technology. And though he sometimes thought of home, of the stars he had traveled among, he knew that the planet of doll-like women was no longer just a place he had been shipwrecked. It was a place where he mattered, where his humanity changed lives, and where he had earned a place of respect, trust, and friendship. In a world of beauty and fragility, Alex realized that humans were unique not because they were perfect, but because they could adapt, create, and inspire. And in that understanding, both he and the women he had helped would find a future brighter than anything either could have imagined alone. The planet glowed softly under the twin moons, the energy cores humming steadily, the women moving with newfound confidence, and Alex standing among them not as a visitor, not as a savior, but as a partner whose mind and courage had proven that humanity could make a difference, even in the most unexpected corners of the galaxy.